Morning Discord, morning YouTube. Let's get into it. Okay, so in the pre-market, we see a little bit of consolidation. So we see that our liquidity box is right here. All right, so we see our pink range. Some strong red candles early. So let's see if we get continuation in which direction. All right, now we got to watch out for so just be patient here. On the 5-minute, we are above the waterline, but we might be starting a bear cycle here. On the 1-minute, we're in the bear cycle. On the 30-minute, we might be starting a bear cycle, or it might be a weak bear cycle starting. So we're either starting a weak bear cycle or we're going to start the actual bear cycle here. So we'll see. Let's let this pink on the 30-minute tell us what's going to happen. Okay, so everyone sees the liquidity boxes now. So we retested this liquidity right here. We retested it. So let's see if we reject. Let's see if we continue like that. So if this play were to happen, we want to see, I'm going to clean up the chart just a bit so you can see a little bit better. We want to look for maybe a shoulder, the head. This would have been the other shoulder. See if we get any continuation. So we're in the pink range, so just sit tight. Let's see if we get this other shoulder to form here. It'd be nice if we get a little pullback like that. It would be nice just to test this really. This is our shoulder. All right, now if we're gonna get any upward momentum, let's look for the dance right here before it heads up. It might be, don't forget, we still have all this room here. I don't have enough information to make any legitimate algorithms yet, so just give it a second. Let's see if this forms a shoulder here. Okay, this is why we have our range, right? This is why we have our range, for this reason right here. Okay. Okay. These past few days, we've had some engulf, or, you know, since last week, the end of last week, we've had these engulfing candles like this, making it hard to follow up on your trades. Okay, so then the next setup we will see is, well, we have our ranges, right? We know what it's going to be. It's either going to be this or this. Not that it's a guarantee, but that's your best option for success. You know, we'd like to see, if it does break below, we'd like to see this in a nice strong movement, but it might just be that one candle drop. So We're gonna have to, I mean, I always want to wait for the break, retest, reject. But while we're still in this range, there's probably nothing much to do. This is gonna be tough to try to scalp in here. Because the reason why it's tough to scalp in here is because we need structure to form. And it's gonna be hard to form the structure in such a tight range. Not impossible, but we just need the structure to form. So we'll be patient for a little bit. All right, let's see if we form some type of microstructure inside of this purple. So the microstructure we want to look for, it might be like this. So a break, retest, reject of the purple. Other than that, we're just still inside of purple, like this. A lot of liquidity is being built up in this purple. Okay, so this is what you got to look out for. I'm going to clean up this chart just a little bit as best I can. I'm going to try to draw through this. I'm going to try to draw through this. So what we need to look out for. Here, let me just... all right, I can't get that. Okay, so we want to see if this level of liquidity is going to be our bolt, right? Everyone see that? Or we want to see if we form our head and shoulder down. So those are the options. Just be patient. A lot of liquidity right here. A lot of liquidity being built up. I'm going to clean up the chart just a little bit. This is good liquidity being built up right here. We're still at market open, so you didn't miss anything. Let's check VWAP real quick. We might be bouncing off VWAP, so let's see if we bounce off VWAP and then break purple. And then, you know, break a purple, you have to measure risk to reward, break a purple to pink, right? So if we get further down purple, that'll be good structure, you know. Yeah, this purple seems to be holding up pretty well. Yeah, we're still in purple. So we need to be looking to see if we're fading down or if we're fading up. So we're in purple until we're not in purple. That's the answer. Watch for the fade. Look which way we're fading. You gotta ask, are we fading down or are we fading up? So if you see like a little wedge forming here, then that tells you there's a wedge forming and the wedge is gonna break. You just gotta see which way it's gonna break. Now luckily for the up, we have some type of guardrail to see where our entries could be for the upside, but for the downside, I haven't spotted that yet. It's forming though, just give it a second. I'm gonna give these confidence level 2s, this magenta and this purple, because the risk to reward is kind of tight. Risk to reward's kind of tight. We're below the water. We just started possibly maybe a bear cycle below the water. So maybe this is our weak bull cycle to give us some continuation from the down. Might be a wedge between purple and magenta. See the purple and magenta wedge possibly forming, which is our fade. You see, this is our fade control. So magenta and purple is our fade controller. It tells us which way we're fading. So these algorithms seem to be holding up pretty well so far. We're gonna let them do their work. We're gonna let these algos do their work, because this is very difficult to trade in. That's why we have our guardrails up, to give us our best probability. Doesn't mean it's 100%, but it means we got this better than anything else. So look, this is what we want to look for. Watch. Everyone pay attention really quick. I'm going to clean it up. So we're looking for if it's going to do this, or if we're going to do this. But this is, it's only difficult because this is a big liquidity wedge right here. It's, your stop losses have to be, I mean, you got to be damn near courageous. Let's check the higher time frame. Oh, okay. Higher time frame says we are just sideways. We've done nothing at all. It says we're above the water, but maybe entering a bull cycle, a bear cycle on the 5 minute. On the 30 minute, we're still within our pink range. So nothing's changed on the 30 minute really. We're just going sideways here. So just chop. Nothing to do here. Nothing to see here. This price action is really sketchy. I mean, we clearly see we're in purple, so purple's holding for us. I'd be interested to see if we break magenta, test this pink. Actually, just like this. I already drew it. I want to see if this happens. Because if you look, oh my goodness. Okay. This wedge is actually, look at this wedge. This wedge is building. It's actually turning out pretty nice. Well, Ron, if you ever make it to the States, we'll be here to welcome you with open arms. This price action is difficult. Well, I mean, not really. We see we're, you know, we're in between purple and magenta, so you don't have to think too much about this. This price action just looks like a goddamn headache. Lee, I thought you were supposed to be coming to California soon. To live or just to visit? Man, to me it looks like we're fading down. Right? It looks like the pressure is greater this way than it is this way. But then if you did buy a put here, your stops would have to be on purple. That's the tough part. The stop is a really wide stop if you go short here. Yeah, whenever you make it, bud. To California, specifically. All right, when you get to SoCal, Lee, you let me know. You let me know when you get to SoCal. You too, Ron. We'll have a meetup. Look at this price action. This is... Let's see the 30 minutes. Okay. Look at this look at the 5-minute chart. Jeez. All right. We'll make All right, we got a pink range on the 5 minute, so we'll see which way it breaks. I see some rejection wicks on the 5 minute, maybe a hammer candle here. Maybe this candle is going to tell us what we need to know. Maybe this on the 5 minute, the 950 candle is going to tell us what we need to know. See the hammer? The hammer forming at possibly the break of this purple. The hammer candle forming at the purple. Right? See, so we have a hammer candle. We know we're at our purple right here. See the purple? Excuse me. Okay, so we broke purple. Let's see if we get any strength. Risk to reward is going to be to pink. So now we're going to see if purple needs to be here or here. You see that secondary liquidity wedge right here? This is tough here because we know there's a lot of liquidity. Look at this, this bear candle right here. We know there's a lot of liquidity right here at this pink. So the break of purple, this is going to be tough. If you're waiting for pink, that's probably your best bet. Because we know there's a lot of liquidity built up on this pink right here. Do you see why we wait for the break and retest? You always want to wait for the break, retest, reject. That's your best bet. Now remember, we're looking for, this is ugly, but this is kind of what we're looking for. Here's our cup. Handle up, we're kind of looking for here, so we'll see if it plays out. I mean, essentially, we're still in the wedge. It's got this secondary liquidity right here. Let's look at our 5. Okay, so on the 5 minute, look how this support on the pink and resistance is holding up. The support and resistance on this pink is really holding up, so we got to wait for the support resistance to break. That's why we have our pink guardrails up. I told you, inside of this pink is going to be tough trading. And you got to measure risk to reward, right? So if it breaks purple, your reward's going to be on pink. So is this enough risk to reward for you? That's for you to decide. But this is something we went over before it even broke purple, so. Just sideways chop, nothing to do here, folks. But purple and magenta are holding up, so we'll just we'll let them do their job. Impossible to trade like this. It's okay. But you better believe they're building it. Look at all this liquidity. They're building it. I'm not sure which one either. I'm not sure if they're building it in magenta or purple. But they're building. All right, we're below the water, starting a bear cycle. I'll probably wait for a break and retest. Because you see what happens every time we hit magenta. Every time we hit magenta, buy call. Every time we hit purple, buy put. So we need that pattern to change. Once that pattern changes, then we'll think of something else. But look at our 5 minute. This 5 minute support and resistance pink is holding up very strong. So we see in the pre-market it did break a little bit right here. So the break and retest underneath this level would be ideal. Underneath 647.87 would be ideal. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, let's see if we get the retest. Ideally, underneath this pink would be ideal. This would be the ideal. Because we know liquidity is built up inside of this pink range. Remember, you got to measure risk to reward on break of whatever to pink, because we're still inside the pink range. Don't forget that. That's what I'm saying. Your best bet is to wait for the break retest or the break retest. Let's see if we had a secondary liquidity right here. What the hell is conversations going on in the chat? What are you guys talking about? What the hell? I go look at the chat and I just see, I'm not a hoe no mo. Interesting. Interesting conversation. So we are below the water in a bear cycle. So let's see if we get some continuation. Here's that continuation we were possibly looking for. Remember this? Let's see if we get that continuation. Every time I'm ready to generate an algo, it changes direction, so I can't really generate anything. It keeps changing direction. I mean, there's no continuation, no continuity. We're just bouncing in this pink range. Oh, we tested this break of pink here and it went exactly to our 647.93 in the 5 minute. And we're back on market open. You didn't miss anything. I believe this center purple or this purple is the dominant. I think there's a liquidity pocket right above it, but I believe we're in the dominant purple. And we're going to be in the dominant purple until we break, retest, and reject up out of it. I took 0 trades so far. I was tempted on the break of this purple, but I wanted to see a break and retest, so I didn't go in on the break of this purple. I wasn't even really tempted on this because I knew pink was right here. So this one was the only one that was interesting to me. But I do like the fact that we have deeper structure inside the purple. So if we do break up above purple, it makes me think we have more strength now. Because I know we've stopped out all of these puts, right? So all these puts here, when we get back up here, I know they've all been stopped out. At this point here, I don't know that they've all been stopped out. When we get up here, I do know that they've all been stopped out. So once I know they all got stopped out up here, right? I know all these puts from here to here, they got stopped out, right? So now I know that since they got stopped out, now we got back up to this level here. These people are stopped out. Now the system's going to take some time to settle out the orders, right? And then once all those orders have been settled and all these people have been stopped out, then you get the continuation. So here's how it works. Everyone finds a level of resistance. They buy their puts. It goes down to the next level of liquidity, which is the bottom of purple or magenta, depending on which one we're in at the time. And then that liquidity gets either rejected, right? Which would be a break, a retest, and reject. Or it's just going to be inside purple. Yeah, I want to see what happens when we get to the end of this wedge right here. We're at market open, so if you didn't take any trades, you are an amazing trader. You've done the right thing. All right, let's see if possibly we could be forming a see if we get something like this, or this cup and handle still in play. And the only reason I did this head and shoulders is because of the price action. Just because of this price action, that's why I made the head and shoulders look the way it does. But every inverse head and shoulders is a cup and handle, right? Kinda. You can find it in there. There's always a structure within a structure. I'm going to take 5 minutes. I'll be right back. Don't overtrade this, right? You see we're in, well, shit, I can't tell if we're in magenta or purple, but because we're literally in between the two algos. So let's let for one of these liquidity levels to break convincing, not just one candle like you see the one candle break. We need to break, retest, and reject for confirmation. And if it does one candle and cascade and we miss it, then we miss it, right? You have to be comfortable with waiting for your setup that you're comfortable with. If it doesn't look the way you like, then don't take the trade. You lose nothing. You risk nothing. So if it doesn't look right, then don't take the trade. You don't always have to take a trade just because you see something drawn on the screen in front of you, or you have hopes and dreams of something. That's not how this works. It has to make sense to you. All I see is we're within this wedge. That's all I see. Now I'm drawing out the possibilities of what to look out for. But I mean, essentially we got nothing because we're just inside of purple. Or maybe inside of magenta. Don't know yet. But just don't overtrade. I'll be right back. Give me a few minutes. Don't overtrade. I'm going to step away for another few minutes. Give me a second. All right, let's see if we get a week. If this week bull cycle was our continuation down. Just set alerts on your pinks. Set alerts on the pinks, and then I'm not gonna sit here all day waiting. I'm gonna set my alert. And then when the alerts go off, oh, okay, hold on. Okay. Let's see if we get below this liquidity here, what the candles look like. We're below the water, starting the bear cycle now. See how much strength we get out of it. We're still on this pink though. On the 5 minute though, it looks like maybe a fade down. Right, on the 5 minute. Maybe the same thing on the 30 minute. What's the difference? So 48.02 is our level on the 30 minute. So we'll see if we break this level on the 30 minute, how it goes. This dotted line. Okay, we broke below 48.02 on the, we didn't close below, but we broke it. So our 30 minute, we broke below it, but let's see if we reject off of it. So look at the 30 minute. See the 30 minute, we're on the pink. We're on the pink right now. Okay. Okay. Let's see if this little pullback here was the break retest. Want to see how this candle closes. Okay. All right, might try the luck now. Yeah, we need to close below this pink. We need to close below this pink. We need to see a break, a retest, and a reject of pink. That's why we have the line here. We need to stay underneath this magenta. All right, we're hoping for a weak bull cycle here. We want to stay underneath the 0 line. Or actually, we don't even want to start a bull cycle. We just want to continue with continuation. So we tested pink one time. Let's see if we test pink again. Let's see if we test the pink again for the continuation on the downside, or if this was just a big liquidity grab from pink to break above purple. So we're still inside the pink. Okay. Okay. All right, let's see if we get the break retest. For pink, you gotta wait for the break, retest, reject. It's gonna be tough to trade while we're in this pink range. All right, let's see if the target's gonna be to pink. I had a bad fill here. I got filled on the top of this candle. I got a bad fill, so I'll chase it. I'm not gonna give it too much room because I know the reward is right here, so I'm gonna chase it. I'm at least gonna go to break even. Okay, there we go. Profit target one hit. All right, if you're waiting for pink, wait for the break and retest. Might have a little room to travel because we want this blue and orange line to close, or at least to cross. So it might have a little bit of room for the upside. Okay. This is still valid until about, let's see if we break, retest, reject off purple. We're just staying in this pink range. We need to break this range. So it looks like we're going to the upside, so we'll see if we can get something out of it. All right, let's see if we have a weak bear cycle here. We're far above the water. Far above the water. Let's see if we get a weak bear cycle for continuation to the upside. So on this one, I waited for the retest. I see that we're high above the water, so I can either hold for a weak bear or my trade's at least protected, so I can't lose. So I'm hoping for a weak bear cycle here for continuation up. There it is. There it is. There it is. Break, retest, reject. You see it? Okay, here we go. Took us a little bit, but we finally made some money today. Jeez. You see how this bolt, this was the bolt right here, right? You see the level? You see the flexion point? So there goes the money. There goes the money. Here we go. Let's keep printing. Let's just keep printing this money. Trade protected, can't lose from here. We knew this was gonna happen. How do we know this? Because we had the bolt drawn. We literally had the bolt drawn. It's pretty good flexion points. Pretty good flexion points. Look at the money we're printing right now. Look at this money. A little bit of patience. We know there's a lot of liquidity built up right here. Let's see what happens if we break above. Now, once this MACD line closes, I'll probably take off some profit. I'll probably take off some contracts. Maybe take off 5, or we'll see how it goes. I'll move my stops underneath this pink though, for sure. I'm gonna move my stop underneath pink. All the stops underneath pink. Look at the money we're printing. Look at this money we're printing. I'm posting it in the Discord so everyone could see that it's possible. Everyone can see that it's possible. You're seeing me do it in real time. Even if you wanted the break, retest, reject of the pink right here, look. Break, retest, reject of pink right here. Here's a winner right here. I gave you on pink, break of pink, right? You had 2 options. It was going to be the break of this one didn't work out, the break of this one worked out. Right? Still hasn't closed the MACD. I'm still in this trade. I'm still in the trade. Here, look, I'll show you. All right, Discord. I'm going to move my stops above pink now. Because I see it's getting tight here, so I'm probably going to start moving them a little bit taller to collect a little bit more profit here. And I'm going to leave the runners to allow for another retest of pink. Look at the money we printed today. It took a little bit. Even if you took a little loss here, we made up for it on the break of this purple here with the break retest. Perfect break and retest. All right, I'm probably going to take some contracts off here. And then I'll leave the rest right above pink. Or at pink. So I'm hoping for a weak bear cycle here. This easy trade. This was an easy trade. We knew exactly what was going to happen here. The only entry was down here for puts. And I even highlighted it with a 3. This one was a 2 only because the risk to reward was here. But the pink, look at pink. Break, retest, reject a pink, in profit. So nothing more I can do. Even if you got it wrong once today, you can't be wrong twice in a row. There's the proof. You just need to hold for a little bit longer. Put your stops appropriate, you'll be fine. We do it every day. Winning every trade is not a thing. You can't win every trade. What we have to do is learn to use the losers to turn those into winners, right? So if you lost down here, you know where the winner is. It's at purple, right? And this was enough liquidity built up to give us enough risk to reward on break of purple to pink. At least we got break of purple to pink, right? From here in the morning, from here to here, that's thin. But now that we got all the way down here, you know, now we got deep structure. This is the deep structure I'm telling you about. I've been telling you about the deep structure. We don't like the thin structure going across. We want it to go down and then up. Look at the money we're printing. Look at the money we're printing right now. Still in it. Watch. Look, there it is. There's the proof inside the Discord chat. I told you again, we had a break, retest, reject of this pink. Now I'm gonna move my stops to right below this right here, below this green. You see this little liquidity right here? So I'm gonna move it below the liquidity. I moved it from pink to now I'm doing it right below liquidity. So I'm taking profit little by little as the price goes up and giving myself enough room to not stop myself out. This was the original tricky part, right? This around 10:30, that was the tricky part. But we kind of knew, where was it? Hold on. on the rejection of this pink right here. On the rejection of pink 648.02. Remember, I had that dotted line up, and it just never got below it. So never got below. That was our entry for the puts. It never happened. Actually, no, 648.02 happened over here on our 30-minute. So this was a little fake out right here. But we got it back right here. We got it back right here. Look at all the money. Look at all the money we printed. It still hasn't closed, right? Still hasn't closed. I'm going to show you. Well, I'm still in it. I'm probably going to take profit when it closes. I'm going to wait for this to cross. When I say close, I mean wait for this to cross. I'm sorry. Okay. We're still collecting money. We're still printing. Okay, that was a good trade. Excellent trade. I took the break retest of purple. I got filled somewhere down here. I actually posted everything in the Discord so everyone could see. Now we're gonna hope for a weak bear cycle here. So if we get below, I'm gonna put my rest of my stops at right above pink, right above this pink right here. Oh no, I'll just do it at pink. I'll do it at pink. So hopefully we test and reject off of pink so the rest of the runners could collect. So I got stopped out somewhere in here whenever this crossed. Now I'm going to hold the runners. Hopefully the runners continue. So yeah, we're hoping for this weak bear cycle. A weak bear cycle is when the MACD and the signal line is above when we go into a bear cycle. When we're above the zero line in a bear cycle, that's a weak bear cycle. Hopefully. We're hoping to see. We don't want this to cross back below. We want it to stay above. We want the blue line and the orange line to cross while we're still above the zero line. Okay, let's see what we got next setup. We want to look for, if we get here and then here and then here, if there's any more down, look for break back underneath pink. I'm going to mark out high a day. I'm still holding on to these runners, right? They're at pink. So if we retest and get above high a day, I might move my stop to right below high a day. Okay, so everyone has seen, we've all walked through a trade. Let's check that. Oh yeah, we're just, yep, we're firm bull. We might be getting oversold right here, so maybe a little pullback. Yeah, see? And we separated on the 30-minute, so we're still in the bull cycle. Yep. Good eye, good catch, good catch. Good catch. And when you look at the higher time frames, that'll let you know if you need to let go of your contracts or hold on to them, right? If you see you got more room on the 5-minute, you see you got more room on the 30-minute, maybe, you know, keeping your stops at pink is not a bad idea, right? Because they're telling you got a little more room. When a little more room means you got to be able to survive this sort of stuff, right? Retracement. That's what a little more room means. To maximize your profit, right? Because you can't take a loss and then eating away loss without maximizing the profit, because you have to, at some point, you need to become positive. And the only way to become positive is if your wins outweigh your losses, obviously, right? I might see we'll see if we get a bearish divergence coming in. Not yet, though. It hasn't happened yet. We'll see if they're trying to create one. Okay. So those runners, right? We're hoping for a weak bear cycle. So let's see if we cross back above. I'll probably start moving my runners a little higher. Maybe underneath this candle right here, or maybe this wick right here. But I move my runners a little bit just to collect, just in case it, because I see a liquidity building up right here. Okay, here we go. Now we broke above. I'm gonna let a couple candles form over here before I move my stop to underneath 649.50. I'm gonna clean up the chart just a bit. Do you see the patience I needed in order for this trade to play out the way I wanted it to? Look at the patience it took. How long we've been holding on? From 34, almost 30 minutes. Look at the money we're printing. Look at the money we just printed. Look at the money we're printing right now. Still holding. Now I'm going to move my stop to above 649.50. Very simple. Very simple. Look at all the money we printed. Look at the weak bear cycle that came in. No, that's good. Don't worry about it. That's good. Yeah, take it. Take it. You have to take the wins. You have to take those wins. Doesn't matter, because we're building the account. Okay, good. See? Perfect. I'm glad that, well, besides the two. But do you see, as long as you stick with the strategy, it's damn near impossible to lose for the day. It's damn near impossible. You just proved it to yourself. You just proved it to yourself. And I'm pretty sure on those two losses that you took, I guarantee you learned something. I guarantee you learned something. That 0.47, all that means, the price of education is worth more than that 0.47. That's what you don't see. The how much you've gained in experience and knowledge is trust me, it's invaluable, because you're going to take this to your next trade and move on. Okay. Yeah, this one stopped me out. So that was a good trade. All my runners are done. They've got finished on when we broke back below here. I wasn't paying too close of attention, but I mean, technically we're still above the water, and there's no reason to leave the trade until the zero line goes, the MACD goes to zero line. But it is getting long in the tooth for the day, so I'll be here another few minutes. We made our money for the day. It was a good move, right? How much was it? From purple 648.70 to 649.70, 1 full point. So that was a good move. You can't ask for anything more than that. Everyone just saw how I made. Today was a light day, so I only did 10 contracts. So around a little less than 600 for the day in 30 minutes. And everyone saw it. The Discord, everyone saw it. So you know it's possible. It's a thing. You just got to stick to your strategy. I'm going to start posting these a lot more in the chat so you can get a little more confidence to see what we're doing here. You see how we're possibly rejecting off of this magenta as well. Okay. Wait, you didn't, Ron, you gotta put your stops, man. You gotta put your stops. Don't allow it. I mean, try not to let it go negative. If you need to get back in, you can get back in. But try to not let it go too far against you. What time did you get in? And I'm assuming you bought a call, but at what time did you buy a call? I'd be interested to know. Okay, so you're saying you didn't take a loss. Is it your brokerage that's causing it to be so clunky, or is it the brokerage, or is it your computer? Or maybe your internet connection or something? Because you've been saying about your brokerage for a couple of weeks now. Oh, you couldn't move your stop. I get it. To collect more. I got you. Okay. And I just want to show everyone really quick how significant this break and retest of purple was. Do you see how we broke purple, we went immediately to pink, we retested purple, and then rejected off purple? This was textbook. This was textbook. Oh man, yeah, you can't. Your IBKR, I would highly recommend you stop using that thing. You got to make a move, Ron. You got to make. I know you're comfortable using it, but you know at some point. Okay. Traders Workstation. Ron, you need to figure out a new platform. Okay, I got you. Okay, cool. So everyone's green for the day. As long as everyone's green, that's all I really care about. Another thing I want to point out is, I hope everyone's okay. Here's another thing I want to point out. Whenever we see movement like this, look at the engulfing candles. This what is this? The barcode, right? This barcode type stuff like this. This is excellent liquidity building up. So this is excellent liquidity. Usually whenever the barcode breaks, you just got to look for whatever structure is inside. So for this one, it was the well, now it's clearly, we see it here, the cup and handle. Yeah, so like I was saying, whenever we see the bar coding like this, that's good liquidity being built up. And then we just need to look for the structure. This is good liquidity being built up. This was a pretty easy trade. But you know what fooled us was this fade down, right? It fooled me. This fade to the downside, what was happening was it just needed to grab liquidity from here, from 647.86, this pink, right? It just wanted to grab the liquidity, gain the strength. It retested the top, settled out these orders here, and gave us continuation up. But as long as you're green for the day, Ron, that's all I really care about. The fine tuning, it'll happen. You'll fine tune it. You'll see the mistakes you're making, and it's not even real mistakes you're making. It just seems to be your brokerage is just struggling with your brokerage. Yeah, we all got to pay that price. We all got to pay that price. Well, hopefully now, in our Discord, you're able to get the training while making money. You earn while you learn. That's $1 million rhyme right there. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, I think we had a pretty good day today. Let's see what we got. This is tough because I see a liquidity box here. And I see one here. So we're in a tight range here again. So let me use the 5 minute. Okay, in my absence, I set up the 5 minute. So let's take a look at the 5 minute. So on the 5 minute, we want to look for calls. We want to look for continuation on. Let me draw this a little bit better. We want to look for the test of 49.79, which we did. We want to retest 49.06 and then reject off of 49.06. This will be ideal. If we get thin structure, it might only retrace back to blue and not pink. Okay. So the thin structure setup is retraced to blue. The deep structure setup is retraced to pink for calls. Okay. And then your entry is going to be on 649 with the proper setup, right? With the break and retest. So we'll do 2 here. And we'll do 3 here. Okay, so you see where your puts are below blue. And your calls are going to be with a pullback above 649.79, right? So you want to see once it does break, a break, retest, reject. Okay. And just to show you what happens when I don't pay attention to, I wasn't paying it. This is why it's hard to like trade and do everything that I'm doing, because it's so I'm gonna post something in the chat here. What did I call it? So in me going and trying to chart and plot and talk and teach and train, I completely didn't manage my trade properly, and I left it alone and it's still printing money. Even look at my mistake. So now we're over 700. No, because I cut off my run. Almost 700 for the day. Because I made a mistake. I didn't exit my trade. I didn't exit the trade. I was supposed to exit on right here on the break of 649.50, and I don't think I moved it properly or something, or maybe I moved it too much. But I didn't get taken out of the trade. and then I started doing some teaching, and I turned around and I made another $100. We had a good day. It was at the money. It was at the money. The 0.5. Whatever at the money was. At the money price right inside. So if the difference is going to be like I don't know, like a 0.49 and a 0.51 delta, I went with the lower one. Slightly lower delta. Sometimes I do lower deltas because it's less volatile. So it allows me to have a little more room for retracement. So I use a slightly lower delta sometimes, so the price doesn't whipsaw back and forth on me. Now that I'm back in control, I'll move the stops above. Actually, I'm gonna go below this candle right here. Yeah, lately I've been noticing I've been going on a lot more plays and putting a really tight stop and just letting the stop me out. And if it continues, it continues. If not, then I stop out for short. So I've been going in on a lot more plays lately. I'm not too happy with these liquidity levels here. I might combine them into one because it's not really separating itself. So I'm seeing this. So if this wants to head down, look for the microstructure like this. Excuse me, below like that. All right, got another few minutes on here and I'm going to call it. I'll be right back. Don't overtrade this. Okay, now on this, you want to wait for a break and retest. All right, pay attention to the 5 minute, right? We want to see if we reject off of this pink. So if we get underneath pink, and then look for a break, retest, and reject. Okay, so that's been my time. YouTube, it's been a pleasure. We had a good day. I'm going to post the wins for the Discord in a brief moment, but we see what's happening on the 5. Let's look for a rejection of this pink, or let's go in on puts underneath blue, preferably underneath 647.93. That'll be your safety. Okay, so watch out for your call entries and your put entries. Okay, so look at your 5 minute, and remember your entry for on the 1 minute wasn't until we broke, retested, and rejected, right? So there's no entry on the put here because you need to break and retest it. Look at your 5 minute. The 5 minute, your call entry was on the flexion point. Look at the flexion point, the exact level. The exact level was the flexion point on the 5, right? So what you want to look for to make sure if this is going to continue is you want to see if you get a shoulder, maybe a head, and then another shoulder to form like this. A little bit thin structure here, but better than going off of nothing. So this is your call scenario. Here goes your put scenario. Okay, so those are all the scenarios. You see it. Well, at least for this short term. So we're in purple, wait for purple to break, or wait for this, if you really want safety, wait for this magenta to break. There's probably... There might be a half channel right here. I'll put this one 2. What is this one? 3. This one's 2. Okay. There might be a half channel right here. Look at your 5-minute chart. Look at this 5-minute chart. Look at this perfection on the 5-minute chart. Look at the perfection on the 5-minute chart. It doesn't get any better than this. So we want to look for a bull flag to form. If it is, the bull flag is going to look like this. And then like that, and like that. So let's see if we form the bull flag here, which would give us our continuation. Or if we get below pink. Look at the 5-minute chart. Where did I tell you it was going to reject? Look at the flexion point. Look at the exact flexion point. I didn't even go all the way to pink. Look at the flexion point that I drew. The exact flexion point. It's the exact point of turnaround. The exact point. No one's doing this on the internet. It's just not happening. Look at this bear flag. It's perfect. Or excuse me, this bull flag. Perfect. Don't overtrade. I'll be right back. This high a day, 649.80, is our pink on the 30-minute range. Look at the 5-minute, still printing money. Look at the 5-minute chart, still printing money. Look at the money it's printed. We had the exact entry. The exact entry. Look, the exact. Even if you were to do, you could have made 100% profit in both directions. 100% in both directions. Look at the money that's being printed right now. I told you there was a bull flag. Look, break a purple to the target. Let's see what happens. Clean up the chart just a bit. Okay, break a purple to the target. Okay, YouTube, that's been my time. It's been a pleasure. You have a good day.